The first official contact between humanity and the Galactic Federation should have been a moment of historic significance, a peaceful handshake between civilizations spanning the stars. Instead, it became a blood-stained memory that would echo across the cosmos. It all began when the Federation's diplomatic envoy, led by the Zalari ambassador Catherine Vach, arrived in the Sol system. Their mission was simple: extend an invitation to Earth, offering humanity a place among the stars. The Federation had made contact with numerous pre-FTL species before, always ensuring a smooth transition into the wider galactic community. But this time, something went terribly wrong. The tragedy at Armstrong Station. The meeting was scheduled to take place on Armstrong Station, a state-of-the-art diplomatic hub orbiting Mars. Humanity, still young in the grand scheme of the universe, had no reason to distrust the Federation. They had heard the faint whispers of alien civilizations through intercepted transmissions, confirming they were not alone. When the Zalari arrived, Earth's representatives greeted them with open arms, eager to begin an era of interstellar cooperation. Then, the massacre happened. The station's security footage would later reveal the horrific sequence of events. Moments after the first handshakes and introductions, the Zalari delegation suddenly collapsed, their bodies convulsing in violent spasms. Their bioluminescent skin darkened as their blood thickened, choking them from the inside. Within minutes, every last Zalari envoy lay dead, their contorted bodies frozen in agony. Panic erupted across the station. The humans had no idea what had happened. The environment was sterile, the air perfectly calibrated for all species present. There had been no sign of hostility from either side. And yet, the Federation's first contact team was dead. Before the humans could even send an explanation, the Federation had already reacted. The wrath of the Federation. What followed was not diplomacy, but judgment. The Zalari were a powerful species within the Federation, and their deaths were seen as an act of war. Humanity, the newcomers, had committed what was perceived as a cold-blooded slaughter of peaceful envoys. Within hours, the Galactic Federation declared Earth a rogue world. The response was immediate and brutal. Federation warships, armed with technology centuries beyond humanity's, began blockading the Sol system. Communications were cut. Trade routes were severed. Humanity, a species that had just begun taking its first steps into the stars, suddenly found itself quarantined by an interstellar force that saw them as dangerous, barbaric murderers. Earth's leaders scrambled to send out messages of peace, desperate to explain that this had been a tragic accident. But the Federation didn't care. The Zalari were dead, and humanity would be made to answer. A doomed defense. Earth's military, though advanced by human standards, was laughably primitive compared to the Federation's armada. Their ships had energy shielding, faster-than-light maneuverability, and weapons capable of glassing continents. Against such overwhelming force, resistance was suicide. And yet, the Federation underestimated humanity's resolve. As the first fleet of Federation ships entered the system, the nations of Earth, once divided by politics and ideology, rallied together in the face of annihilation. If the galaxy wanted to destroy them, then humanity would make them bleed for every inch of space. The hidden truth. Unbeknownst to both humanity and the Federation, the tragedy at Armstrong Station had not been an accident. It had been sabotage. A third party, hidden in the shadows of galactic politics, had orchestrated the deaths of the Zalari envoys, knowing it would spark a war. And humanity, the young, underestimated species, was their perfect scapegoat. But what the saboteurs didn't expect was that when humanity was backed into a corner, they didn't beg for mercy. They fought back. The Galactic Federation expected a swift and effortless subjugation of humanity. After all, Earth was barely a fledgling spacefaring civilization, its ships crude and its weapons outdated compared to the advanced fleets that patrolled the galaxy. A show of force would be enough to break their spirit. They were wrong. The Federation's miscalculation. As the first wave of Federation warships entered the Sol system, they moved with the confidence of a superior force. Their fleet consisted of sleek, shielded dreadnoughts, agile strike frigates, and massive troop carriers primed for planetary occupation. The mission was simple: disable Earth's defenses, establish control, and demand unconditional surrender. But what they didn't anticipate was the one trait that defined humanity more than any other: adaptability. Earth had been at war with itself for centuries. While humanity had never faced an alien armada, they had mastered warfare in a way no other species had. Strategy, deception, unconventional tactics, humans were predators when it came to combat. The Federation relied on superior technology and predictable battle doctrines. Humanity relied on creativity and sheer, unrelenting will. And so, when the Federation fleet reached Mars, they encountered their first surprise. Mars fights back. The colonists on Mars weren't soldiers, but they were survivors. When the Federation warships moved to occupy the planet, expecting an easy conquest, they were met with a brutal resistance. Martian defense platforms, normally used for asteroid deterrence, had been converted into makeshift railgun turrets, launching devastating tungsten rounds that shredded through the first wave of invading frigates. The Federation assumed human defenses would be concentrated around Earth. Instead, Mars had turned itself into a fortress. The orbital shipyards had been repurposed into launch platforms for kinetic bombardments, sending high-speed payloads that cracked Federation hulls like glass. The battle, which should have lasted minutes, dragged into hours. And that was when Earth launched its counterattack. The ambush at Luna. The Federation had made a critical mistake. They had underestimated human ingenuity. While the Federation fleet was focused on breaking Martian resistance, Earth's forces struck from an unexpected angle. The Moon. Luna's surface had long been home to secret military installations, deep underground bunkers, hidden launch sites, and experimental weaponry developed in anticipation of an extraterrestrial threat. When humanity's leaders realized diplomacy had failed, they activated Project Revenant. Using gravitational slingshot maneuvers, Earth's forces launched hundreds of unmanned attack drones, retrofitted with AI-controlled targeting systems. These drones were slow, primitive compared to the sleek fighters of the Federation, but they had numbers. And they were carrying nuclear warheads. The moment the Federation fleet turned its attention toward Luna, the ambush was sprung. Dozens of nuclear explosions erupted across the void, tearing through enemy formations. The Federation's shields, designed to withstand energy-based attacks, struggled against the sheer raw force of kinetic and nuclear weaponry. They had never fought an enemy like this. Within moments, several Federation battleships were reduced to glowing debris. The fleet's carefully planned invasion had turned into an absolute disaster. The message heard across the galaxy. As Earth's forces pushed back against the invaders, a single transmission was sent out to the Galactic Federation's High Council. It was a warning. Humanity did not start this war. But we will finish it. The message was broadcast across every known communication channel, intercepted by species across the galaxy. What was supposed to be a one-sided annihilation had turned into something the Federation had never encountered before. A fledgling species had just bloodied the most powerful armada in the galaxy. And the galaxy was watching. The Battle of Seoul had not gone as the Galactic Federation expected. What was meant to be a quick and overwhelming show of force had turned into a humiliating setback. The Federation's fleets had been bloodied, their arrogance exposed, and now the eyes of the galaxy were upon them. But the Federation was not an entity that tolerated failure. They would not retreat. They would crush humanity and erase their defiance from existence. And this time, they would not hold back. The retaliation fleet assembles. While the initial assault force had been a single fleet tasked with bringing Earth to heel, the response to humanity's resistance was on an entirely different scale. 5 full battle groups were mobilized, each one capable of wiping out an entire planetary system. The fleet was led by High Commander Jex Talek, a ruthless strategist from the Zalari species, who had personally fought in over 100 campaigns. He had studied the battle reports. The humans were not technologically advanced, but they were resourceful. They used nuclear weapons, kinetic bombardments, and psychological warfare. They had no respect for traditional battle doctrine. So Talek prepared accordingly. This time, he would not underestimate them. The Federation's fleets set course for Sol, determined to erase humanity from the stars. A desperate council. On Earth, the mood was grim. While the first battle had been a victory, humanity's leaders knew they had merely delayed the inevitable. The Federation was regrouping, and when they returned, it would not be with a single fleet, it would be with a force capable of obliterating Earth entirely. The United Nations Security Council had been restructured into the Earth Defense Command, an emergency military coalition formed to coordinate humanity's survival. The room was filled with generals, admirals, and scientists, all debating their next move. "We can't win a prolonged war," one general argued. "They'll just keep sending fleets until we're wiped out." "Then we hit them where it hurts," Admiral Kovacs of the North American Fleet countered. "We take the fight to them." The room went silent. It was a suicide mission. Humanity barely had enough firepower to defend itself, an offensive was unthinkable. But as the debate continued, one of Earth's greatest scientific minds, Dr. Elias Voss, presented an idea so insane that it might actually work. Project Blackout. Dr. Voss had spent years studying alien technology recovered from derelict probes. While humanity was centuries behind the Federation in most areas, there was one field where they had made an unexpected breakthrough: electromagnetic warfare. Voss's team had developed an experimental weapon, ***, a system-disrupting EMP pulse that could disable even the most advanced Federation technology, ***. The only problem? It required a close-range detonation, and humanity had no means of delivering it safely. But the decision was made. A desperate, last-ditch plan was formed. Humanity would not sit and wait for its execution. It would strike first. The ambush at Proxima Gate. The Federation's armada was en route, passing through Proxima Gate, a massive artificial wormhole that served as a primary route into Sol. It was here that humanity prepared their trap. Using stolen Federation signals, a lone human vessel, ***, the UNS Dauntless ***, infiltrated the fleet's formation. It was a suicide mission. The crew, led by Captain Ria Solis, knew they wouldn't be coming back. But if they succeeded, they could cripple the entire fleet before it even reached Earth. As the Federation ships emerged from the wormhole, the Dauntless executed its mission. The blackout device was detonated. A wave of pure electromagnetic disruption surged through space. Shields failed. Targeting systems went offline. The mighty warships of the Federation went blind. And then, Earth's hidden fleet attacked. The tide turns. Out of nowhere, a swarm of human vessels, jury-rigged for war, descended upon the crippled Federation fleet. They were outmatched in firepower but fought like demons. Torpedoes ripped through disabled dreadnoughts. Railguns punctured enemy cruisers, ***. The battlefield was chaos, and for the first time in history, the Galactic Federation was losing a space battle. Humanity had just proven they weren't prey. They were predators. The destruction at Proxima Gate sent shockwaves through the Galactic Federation. What should have been a crushing counterattack had turned into a nightmare, an entire battle group disabled and annihilated before it could even reach Earth. The Federation had never suffered such a catastrophic loss at the hands of a pre-FTL civilization. The mere thought of it was unthinkable. Now, the galaxy was watching. The Federation in crisis. In the heart of Federation space, the High Council convened in a state of absolute turmoil. Representatives of over 100 species filled the Grand Chamber, their voices raised in anger and disbelief. Humanity was supposed to be dealt with already. They used primitive weapons to dismantle an entire fleet. How is that possible? We have underestimated them. Again. At the head of the council, Chancellor Vayanar, leader of the Federation, struggled to contain the crisis. The Zalari delegation, still mourning their fallen diplomats, demanded full-scale extermination of the human race. Others hesitated. The galaxy had always seen humanity as a backwater species, but now? They had humiliated the Federation. And that kind of defiance had never been allowed to exist. The consensus was clear: humanity had to be crushed. But for the first time, there was doubt. Because if a fledgling species could bleed the Federation, then what else were they capable of? The enemy of my enemy. Far beyond Federation space, deep in the outer rim, other forces had begun to take notice of humanity's defiance. Not everyone in the galaxy was loyal to the Federation. Some, in fact, hated it. And some saw an opportunity. On the bridge of a massive warship, High Warlord Kareth of the Drakari Dominion watched the battle footage of Proxima Gate with great interest. The Drakari were a warrior species, nomadic, ruthless, and feared across the galaxy. For centuries, they had fought an endless guerrilla war against the Federation, striking from the shadows but never truly gaining ground. Now, for the first time, someone else had wounded their enemy. Kareth turned to his war council, a slow, predatory grin spreading across his reptilian face. "Summon the fleet," he growled. "We are going to meet these humans. Earth's reckoning." Back on Earth, celebrations were brief. The victory at Proxima Gate had given humanity hope, but the war was far from over. Every analyst knew the truth: the Federation was going to come back, and when they did, they wouldn't make the same mistakes. For the first time in history, all of humanity's factions had united. Factories worked around the clock, churning out warships, missiles, and combat drones at an insane pace. Orbital defenses were reinforced. Conscription was enforced worldwide. Every human, from scientists to soldiers, prepared for what was to come. But then, something unexpected happened. A massive unidentified fleet entered the Sol system. They weren't Federation. They weren't human. And they weren't hostile. The Drakari's offer. Humanity's military forces scrambled as the Drakari Dominion entered the system, their warships unlike anything Earth had ever seen. Every human weapon was locked and ready. But instead of attacking, the Drakari hailed Earth. And Warlord Karetha's message shocked humanity to its core. "Humans," his voice rumbled through every major broadcast. "You fight the Federation. So do we. Let us talk." The galaxy had been shaken. But humanity? Humanity was about to change everything. The arrival of the Drakari Dominion was both an opportunity and a danger. Humanity had spent decades wondering if they were alone, and now, in the span of mere months, they had gone from hopeful explorers to embattled warriors. Now, a species the Federation called pirates, warlords, and barbarians was standing at humanity's doorstep, offering an alliance. The meeting on Luna. The Earth Defense Command, wary of a possible trap, arranged for a neutral meeting on Luna's Armstrong base. Armed guards lined the halls as humanity's best diplomats, military commanders, and scientists awaited the arrival of the Drakari delegation. When High Warlord Kareth entered the chamber, it was as if the air itself grew heavier. Standing over 8 feet tall, his thick, scaled armor gleamed under the artificial lights. His species was built for war: massive, clawed hands, slit-pupiled golden eyes, and a presence that exuded raw power. He did not waste time with pleasantries. "You fight the Federation," Kareth growled. "That makes you useful." Humanity's representatives tensed, but Admiral Kovacs leaned forward, eyes locked on the warlord. "We fight to survive," she corrected. "And we don't intend to lose." A low, rumbling chuckle came from the Drakari leader. "Then we have something in common. The Pact of Luna." What followed was one of the most pivotal negotiations in human history. The Drakari had been waging war against the Federation for over a century. Unlike humanity, they weren't a single species but a coalition of warrior clans, fierce, independent, and ruthless. The Federation saw them as nothing more than an infestation to be crushed, but the truth was far more complex. They were resistance fighters. For decades, the Federation had expanded, absorbing weaker species, stripping planets of resources, and crushing anyone who resisted under the guise of galactic unity. The Drakari had refused to submit, and so they had been branded outlaws. Now, they saw in humanity a kindred spirit, a species that refused to be conquered. The offer was simple: an alliance. The Drakari would share their weapons, tactics, and intelligence. In return, humanity would open its industrial capabilities to the war effort ***. It was a risky proposition. The Drakari were feared for their brutality, and some of humanity's leaders worried about making a deal with the devil. But there was no time for hesitation. The Federation would return, and if Earth stood alone, it would fall. With a single handshake between Admiral Kovacs and Warlord Kareth, the Pact of Luna was signed. The Federation's ultimatum. Days after the alliance was sealed, the Federation sent a final message to Earth. The holographic transmission showed Chancellor Vayanar standing in a towering Federation hall, surrounded by the banners of 100 alien species. His expression was not one of rage, but calculated authority. "Humanity," he began, his voice echoing. "You have been judged as reckless, dangerous, and a threat to the peace of this galaxy. We offered you integration. You responded with violence. We sought justice. You chose war." His eyes darkened. "And now, you align yourselves with criminals and warlords. This confirms what we already knew." The screen shifted to show a massive armada, hundreds of warships assembled in formation. The sheer scale of it dwarfed anything humanity had faced before. "This is our final offer." The Chancellor's voice was cold. "Surrender Earth and submit to the Federation. You will be disarmed. You will be governed. You will survive, but only as subjects of the Galactic Order." A pause. Then his eyes narrowed. "Refuse, and we will burn your world to ash." The transmission ended. Humanity's answer. There was no debate. The people of Earth had seen what the Federation's justice looked like. They had watched Mars burn. They had seen entire fleets destroyed in the name of peace. Humanity had bled for its survival. And now, they had allies. Admiral Kovacs sent a single message in reply. "Come and try." The moment the Federation's ultimatum expired, the skies over Earth darkened. Hundreds of enemy warships surged into the Sol system, blotting out the stars. The Federation had arrived in full force, ***5 armadas ***, each larger than the original fleets that had been shattered at Proxima Gate. Their goal was simple: erase humanity from existence. But humanity was ready. And this time, they weren't alone. The last line of defense. The Earth Defense Fleet, bolstered with Drakari warships, formed a defensive wall at the edge of the system. The Federation's commanders expected panic, desperation. Instead, their long-range scans detected cold efficiency. Earth's ships were organized, disciplined, and waiting. This wasn't the battered, scrambling force they had fought before. Humanity had evolved. Mars had become a weapons platform. Luna had been converted into a fortress. And Earth? Earth was a death trap ***. In orbit, thousands of auto-firing railguns were locked onto enemy positions. Stealth missile platforms lurked in the asteroid belt, waiting for the right moment to unleash hell. And deep within the system, hidden within the rings of Saturn, humanity's final weapon lay in wait. The Federation's grand assault. The Federation fleet moved with overwhelming force. Their warships were larger, faster, and stronger, shields glowing with impenetrable energy barriers. Waves of sleek, drone-like fighters launched in perfect formation, their AI-controlled precision unmatched. They descended upon Earth like gods of war. The first wave never made it to the planet. The trap is sprung. The moment the Federation armada crossed into range, the Martian kill zone activated. Martian railgun platforms fired tungsten slugs at near-light speeds, shredding through Federation capital ships before their shields could adapt. The asteroid belt, previously assumed to be a harmless debris field, erupted with hidden missile silos, firing thousands of high-yield warheads straight into the heart of the Federation formation. But the true masterpiece was Project Revenant. Humanity had spent months salvaging wreckage from previous battles, reverse-engineering Federation AI technology. Their scientists had done the impossible. They had hacked the Federation's own drones. Without warning, thousands of enemy fighter squadrons turned against their own fleet. The Federation's perfect battle formation collapsed in seconds as their own ships were caught in friendly fire, confusion spreading through their ranks. Then, the Drakari struck. Drakari Fury. Warlord Karetha's fleet emerged from Titan's shadow, their warships ugly, brutal, and utterly lethal. Unlike the elegant Federation vessels, Drakari ships were built for brute force combat, armored battering rams equipped with plasma lances and boarding pods. They tore into the Federation's flanks, ripping open hulls and sending legions of warriors flooding into enemy ships. Hand-to-hand combat raged in space, Federation captains watching in horror as their own bridges were overrun by the monstrous warriors. The unthinkable had happened. The Federation fleet, the mightiest force in the galaxy, was being torn apart. The Federation's last gambit. But the Federation had one last weapon. As the battle raged, 3 planet crackers, massive dreadnoughts designed to pulverize worlds, moved into position over Earth. Each was capable of unleashing a fusion-based bombardment that would turn continents to glass. They hadn't come to conquer anymore. They had come to exterminate. High above Earth, the first dreadnought's main weapon charged. And then, a shadow moved over Saturn. Project Titan awakens. Humanity had saved its greatest weapon for last. From the cover of Saturn's rings, a monstrosity emerged, Project Titan Earth's first and only dreadnought-class warship. It was not elegant like the Federation's ships. It was a floating mountain of steel, built from repurposed space stations and armored with layers of alloy that could withstand a direct nuclear strike. And it was angry. Titan fired its main gun. A kinetic lance, powered by the gravitational slingshot of Saturn itself, tore straight through the first planet cracker, splitting the colossal vessel in half. The second dreadnought turned its weapons toward Titan, only for a squadron of human-piloted fighters to break through its defenses, launching a barrage of nuclear-tipped torpedoes straight into its reactor core. One by one, the planet crackers fell. The Federation retreats. Seeing their ultimate weapons annihilated, the remaining Federation forces began to panic, their formations crumbled, admirals screaming desperate orders that no longer mattered. Humanity pushed forward, turning defense into merciless offense. For the first time in history, the Galactic Federation did something they had never done before. They ran. The surviving ships fled the system, their once invincible armada reduced to burning wreckage. Victory. As the last enemy ships disappeared into hyperspace, the people of Earth erupted in celebration. Against impossible odds, humanity had stood its ground. It had fought. It had won. And now? Now, the galaxy would never forget the day humanity proved it was not prey. It was a predator. The dust of battle had settled, and the stars once again shone brightly over Earth. The Federation was in shambles, its fleets decimated, its leadership in disarray, and its once unshakable confidence shattered. For the first time in centuries, a species that had long been viewed as insignificant by the galactic powers had risen from the brink of extinction to claim its place among the stars. But the question was, what now? The broken Federation. In the wake of humanity's victory, the Galactic Federation was reeling. High-ranking officials, warlords, and species who had once been its pillars of power were now questioning their allegiance. The losses at Sol had been catastrophic, entire fleets reduced to space debris, and the once feared leadership of the Federation scattered. The Federation High Council had convened in secret, their halls filled with tense debate. Humanity has proven itself a threat, Chancellor Vanar said, his voice tight with frustration. We can no longer tolerate their defiance. But his words were met with increasing resistance. More and more species began to question the Federation's policies. The Zalari, once humanity's most vocal enemies, were now engaged in intense internal debates about their future role in the galaxy. Other races, like the Gretak and the Zarian Collective, saw an opportunity. This isn't just about humanity, said Gretak Ambassador Trixna. This is about us. The Federation's corruption has bled us all dry. It's time to consider a new order. The seeds of rebellion were being sown, not just against humanity, but against the Federation itself. humanity's rebuilding. On Earth, celebrations were momentary. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. Humanity had survived, but now, it had to thrive. Admiral Kovacs, now one of Earth's most respected leaders, addressed the world. Standing before a united global audience, she spoke of a future where Earth would never be complacent again. "We will rebuild," she said, her voice filled with determination. "We will build fleets, we will forge alliances, and we will not just protect our world, we will protect our place in the stars." With the destruction of the Federation's fleets, Earth had inherited vast resources, *** technologies, materials, and captured Federation ships ***, but the real challenge now was expansion. Humanity would need to spread beyond Earth's borders, establish colonies, and claim its future as a galactic power. But with victory came its own set of challenges. The Federation wasn't finished, it had powerful remnants, and other galactic powers, like the Dracari, were already eyeing humanity's newfound status with their own plans. New alliances, new threats. The Dracari, led by Warlord Kareth, were quick to take advantage of the chaos in Federation space. While some human leaders saw them as allies, others feared the Dominion's true ambitions. The Dracari were honor-bound warriors, but they were also ruthless conquerors. In a secret meeting between Warlord Kareth and Admiral Kovacs, the terms of their alliance were laid bare. Humanity would receive Dracari weapons and training in exchange for support in the inevitable power struggle to come. Kareth's eyes gleamed with a predatory glint. "Humanity will need to decide soon," he warned. "The Federation will not stay broken forever. When they return, they will come for all of us." As the Dracari turned their attention to the ruins of the Federation's fleets, another unknown faction began to stir in the shadows, the Zamari Confederacy, a species known for their highly advanced nanotechnology and their quiet resistance to the Federation's dominance. For humanity, the future was uncertain. The galaxy was filled with old rivalries, resentments, and new players who sought to rise to power in the wake of the Federation's downfall. And while Earth had won the battle, the war was just beginning. The galactic shifting. Humanity's victory had not gone unnoticed. The galaxy's smaller factions, once crushed under the Federation's iron fist, were now reconsidering their place in the universe. There was a growing sense of hope and rebellion spreading across the stars. The Gretak began to establish diplomatic ties with Earth, seeking an end to the Federation's dominance. The Zarian Collective, once loyal to the Federation's ideals, now found themselves disillusioned in exploring their own future. Humanity had awakened a new galactic movement, one that would see the end of the Federation's totalitarian reign and the birth of a new order. As for the Federation, the wounds they had suffered at Earth's hands would not heal quickly. The galaxy would change. New powers would rise. And humanity? Humanity would lead them all. A new beginning. In the heart of Earth's capital, Admiral Kovacs stood on the balcony, looking out over a world that had been through so much yet stood resilient. Her thoughts were clear. Humanity was no longer a side note in the galaxy. They were players. They were leaders. And soon, they would take their place among the stars. But first, they had to face the challenges of the new age, the threats, the alliances, and the future they had yet to build. The old order was gone. The galaxy was up for grabs. And humanity would not stop until it had claimed its rightful place at the top.